Okay, so along with moving by yourself on the board, moving by yourself with weighted objects, the other way you can practice this is moving, if you don't have a training partner, to develop your body, moving your body like this. So what I like to do is I like to bend my knees slightly, put 1 foot forward, 1 foot back, and first move my upper body, as you can see this. Notice my hips are pretty much staying in the same spot. My legs are not really moving. They're just getting the feel. Then I like to roll my shoulders a little bit as I'm doing it. Notice I'm rolling them forward, trying to close off the space, just like how you see boxers, how they tuck their chin and how they roll their shoulders. And I just kind of get this kind of motion going. And I just play around with it. Then do it to the other side, kind of the same way, without moving the hips and the legs too much. Then I start adding hip movement. So I start moving my hips, kind of this circular fashion, going back and forth. But notice I don't get to the point where I feel like I'm going to fall. Then I will actually move my hips to a side, but my upper body will go to the opposite side as it works as a counterbalance to control my equilibrium, because as my center of gravity shifts to the side, by moving my upper body to the opposite side, it allows me great counterbalance and a lot of freedom. But I don't just do that. I also will move my hip, say, to the left. But I'll actually shift here only to that point where I can still control my equilibrium but not fall over. And the reason I do that is the same reason why I was doing this in the beginning, is to develop the ability that when I can't always just shift my hips, I still have the ability to control my upper body, rolling my shoulders, and I just play around with it. And then I move my hands, but I'm doing the same thing in my upper body. Sometimes I just move my hands like this. Sometimes I'm moving my arms and I move my body very little and my hips very little. Sometimes I move it almost to an extreme, but it's very fluid, very controlled. So I'm trying to span all these different spectrums. The other thing I like to do is I like to do the wash the body exercise, but moving and doing these same kind of movements, now imagining somebody throwing blows at me, where I'm only focused on moving my body first to position my hands where I want my hands to be. If you're working on a heavy bag, you can practice this where you push the bag and you just feel yourself slipping the bag, doing the same kind of thing. It's just, the limitations to this are only limited by your imagination. I then also start stepping with my feet and then trying to incorporate it to learn how to move as I'm doing it within stepping. One thing I caution on though when you're stepping is, remember when you're stepping, because you're also moving your entire sphere, you don't have to move your upper body or your torso as much because the stepping is already compensated. This is the reason why when I do this exercise in the beginning as I'm teaching it to people on how to move like this, I try to limit their ability to step, because if I let them step, it's just too easy, but they never really develop this ability, because in order to develop this ability, you got to actually practice it. The other thing I like to do is I like to do a thing where I call pocketing, or creating space. It's probably a better word, where I actually do the same thing and then I actually concave my chest or my body and move my body in ways where I'm actually creating space. Then I like to step forward doing it, step to the side. I do all kinds of stuff. And the reason I do these things is to develop it where it's just something my body can do. So that when I need to create space or do something or walk past someone or control and manipulate space, whatever I'm going to do, I'm always capable of doing it because I've trained my body to the subconscious competence level where it's just something I can do, which is the whole point. I don't want to be in a situation whereas if I got to slip a punch, I got to concentrate and think about which way to turn, what do I do. But if I can feel it because I practiced it enough and trained my body to move like this, I don't have to think about it. Then I can just do it. And that's what you want. So hopefully in this series, I've given you a lot of food for thought of how you can practice developing these skills. And again, what I'm showing you here is actually rudimentary stuff. But I'm showing you how it also is incorporated and actually is a part of the ruthless intention training, because the same way I can move ruthlessly to hit you is the same way I can avoid you at almost supernatural speed and move in close distance without worrying about getting hit, or at least clip with something that could stop me and then just crush you. So hopefully this is going to bring out some other ideas for you. Don't allow what I showed you here to be the limitation because none of us knows how far we can take this concept. Just remember that within everybody's bodies, everything that you can already do in your body already exists within your body. You just have to train and practice and practice and practice to be able to find what those things are.